Serious, what is the scariest experience you have had? So, I was staying over at friend's house with another friend of mine, and we were all hanging out in the computer bedroom looking at early 2000s memes, or whatever was cool, and her parents were out for the night. This bedroom was in a hallway off of the living room, where the front door was. It was the first bedroom and the hallway, then it was the bathroom, then my friend's room at the very end. At some point I walked out of the room, through the living room, and to the kitchen. As I was walking to the kitchen, I heard a door shut. When I turned to look, the bathroom door was closed, and the light was on. So after getting water, or whatever, I went back, and asked if they went to the bathroom. Nope. So of course we were all scared shitless, and went to investigate. Now the bathroom door was open, but the light was still on and her bedroom door was shut. Okay, fucking scary. Us, being dumb teenagers, decided to grab a knife for protection, and go in there. We were all standing at the door, her huge dog is with us, and growling at the door. My friend starts to reach for the door, when the handle starts to wiggle. So, of course, we start screaming and run out. We went across the street to the neighbors, and called the cops and her mom. Cops clear the house out, say it's all clear. Once we get back in, we see that her window was open and all of the stuff on the nightstand had been knocked over. I really hate to think what would have happened if I hadn't left that room and noticed something was wrong. Grandma thought she'd cook brunch. We didn't have a gas line, rather we traded empty gas cylinders for new ones. A rubber hose connected the cylinder to the stove. She had something cooking on all 4 burners. After a while, she realizes only one of the burners is on fire. She checks, but because she's got poor eyesight, she doesn't spot the problem. She asks me to check. So I check, and my blood turns to ice. My dear blind grandma had somehow contrived to lay the rubber gas hose across the closest stove. It wasn't the stove that was lit, the rubber was on fire. By some miracle the rubber had melted and fused shut the flow of gas, but it was burning down, and it wasn't a very long pipe. I yelled something in some language I'd never heard, and dumped a glass of water on the pipe. It sputtered, and kept right on burning. I dumped a large bowl of water on it, and that fucking thing just kept right on burning. My granny had already been screaming for about 30 seconds. My dad came rushing out of his room, and into the kitchen. I must have successfully told him what was wrong. He told me to get the fuck out, and take my kid's bro with me. I went off running, grabbing my bro's hair on the way. When I was out of the house, and nothing had gone all Michael Bay, I yelled, and Dad yelled back saying it was okay to come back inside. He'd basically taken a bucket of water from the bathroom, and drowned my granny's brunch. She was so guilty after that she wouldn't cook anything for a month. A friend of mine was suicidal, and called me for help. She asked why she shouldn't kill herself. I heard her open her silverware drawer, and she hung up. I drove as fast as I could to her apartment, convinced her to give me the knife, talked her into going to the hospital. We were on the highway when she grabbed my steering wheel, yanked, and tried to kill us both. After I got the car under control, I realized that if I pulled over, she might jump out and get hit by another car, and that I couldn't call 911 without taking one hand off of my steering wheel. The rest of the drive, I was so full of dread and scared and felt like I was in way over my head. I got her to the hospital. Turns out her blood alcohol was at near fatal levels. I have no idea how she was conscious and speaking clearly. She's been sober now for almost 3.5 years, as far as I know. My younger sister and I went to a McDonald's in Florida during the summer when I was in college, and she was visiting me. It was hot, so we went out in tank tops and shorts. It was pretty late, 2 AM, and we got out of the car to switch places before going into the drive-through lane. One of the cars that pulled in behind us noticed us and spent the few minutes we were waiting at the drive-through yelling suggestive comments at us /etc. We ignored them. We paid for our food and got ready to pull out of the parking lot, but somehow the car behind us got to the exit first and blocked it with their car. One of the 4 or 5 guys in the car got out of their car and started walking towards us. We noped out of there real quick. They were blocking the only exit, so I turned the car around and drove out the entrance. They quickly followed. They chased us for about 5 minutes, going full speed across this little town at 2 AM. I was hoping we'd get pulled over by a cop. This particular town, Fort Myers, had a bridge we needed to cross to get back to my house, so I ran the red light before the bridge and was able to cross the bridge and avoid them. Still don't know what they wanted, but it was definitely one of the scarier moments I've had. I was 19 or so at the time. When I was about 8, my sister, 16, offered to babysit me at her boyfriend's, Johnny, apartment complex. Johnny was babysitting his younger brother who was like 5 or 6. We went to the pool to go swimming. The younger brother and I went in. Everything cool. My sister was putting on suntan lotion to catch some rays. And out of nowhere Johnny's younger brother basically jumped on top of me, grabbing my hair and started trying to drown me. He had a floating device he was sitting and had come from behind. I fought vigorously to stay up, gasping for every breath I could take, and simultaneously yelled for my sister to come help me. Her response, "I can't get in. I just put on suntan lotion." A few seconds later I hear a large splash. My head gets submerged and I look to my right, and there is my hero swimming right at me, separates him from me, saving my life. Thanks Johnny, you were a shitty boyfriend to my sister, but she deserved it.